From Bustleton to Broome, this is Spirit Drive.
Thanks to Globe Construction Group, Engineering and Maintenance. Whether it's residential, commercial or industrial projects, they deliver on their promise. Visit globeconstruction.com.au.
On your radio, smartphone and at the all-new spiritradio.com.au, it is Matt Layton for the drive home. Now, WA, it is really, really great to welcome home one of TV's greatest news presenters. I truly, truly mean that. You've been waking up with her for almost 14 years. I thought that was a typo, but I can't believe it. She's been an integral part of the Sunrise family. Bunbury's very own Natalie Barr. Welcome to Spirit Drive. How you going?
Oh, thank you. That's a nice introduction. Pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm hearing in the background, I think the whole of Bunbury's having a street party right now, the fact you're back on radio again. But welcome back to WA. It's great to see you again.
Thank you. Lovely to be back in the West.
It's good. Actually, last time I saw you, I would have been, it was 2012, I think. I went over to Martin Place, Brecky Central. It went absolute mayhem when this guy was a thing. Do you remember the Psy concert?
Gangnam Style.
Yeah, back in 2012,
there?
I was there. It was nuts.
It was hugely nuts. That crowd took up the whole of Martin Place, if you were there.
Yeah.
And my son actually skipped the first half hour of school to get to that concert, and we had to put him in a cab to get him to school on time.
Yeah.
He thought it was Christmas. That was massive, wasn't it? We've had so many massive concerts in Martin Place, and all the serious suits in Martin Place in all the offices crowd around, and they think they're cool just for a moment, don't they?
I mean, how do you keep yourself composed on a show that is one part, serious news and one part rock show?
We don't. We just had one of those situations. We've had, as you would know, as all your listeners know, we've had such bad news, such horrible, horrible news, day in, day out over the last few months.
Yeah.
But, like anyone, when we talk about bad news, but then we talk about, funny things that have happened. I suppose it's like the family dinner table. We swap from bad news and then, hey, how about this thing that, my mum did yesterday that was stupid, and, how about this funny joke that Dad's got? That's what our show's about. So we jump around all the time. But honestly, the amount of times that Sam and Koshi are pulling the mickey, laughing, eating their breakfast, blowing their nose while I'm doing the news, I deserve a medal for that, for getting through and not laughing.
You mentioned there, you covered a fair bit of news over that time. I mean, you cut your teeth at the Golden West Network as well, which is great. But what are some of the stories you look back on? I mean, it's such a turbulent time right now, but what are some of the stories you've looked back and think, gee, that was absolutely intense?
In the last couple of years, I've been sent on a lot more big stories. A couple of weeks ago, I was sent to the Manchester bombing. Last year, I was standing on the lawn of the White House for a week covering the US election. I was sent to the Nice terror attack, where, of course, the van knocked down all those innocent people. I did the Dreamworld tragedy. Basically, you're sent to all these horrible, horrible stories. But as a journalist, they're the biggest stories in the world, often at that time. On that day. It's incredible to be there, and that's what you work for, to be sent to the big ones. The tsunami in Japan was amazing to be sent to. I was at Barack Obama's first inauguration, standing in the middle of 2 million people, 1 million people in front of me and 1 million people behind me, and everyone was screaming and cheering, and everyone in that crowd was happy. It was the most amazing feeling I think I've ever experienced.
And here you are, back in Western Australia. You are filling in on Sunrise WA News. It is great to see you live and local here in WA, and it's great because there's going to be more extensive coverage rolling out soon. Yeah,
WA wanted more local news. Obviously there's a time difference. We're not pretending there's not. WA people know there is. Obviously 3 hours in summer, and that makes a big difference. So West Australians wanted more local live coverage. So we're expanding the coverage in Sunrise News. We're bumping it out over the next few weeks and few months, and we're starting today.
WA's very own Natalie Barr from Sunrise is my special guest on Spirit Drive. Right now, though, the latest from Dan Sultan. This is Hold It Together. We'll be back right after this.
Matt Layton driving you home.
Spirit.
Across WA, this is Spirit Drive, where I'm talking to WA news reading royalty Natalie Barr. Now, it is, of course, one big family at Sunrise, and like every other family, there can be a few disagreements here and there. One in particular caught my eye was between you and Koshi.
I have
there's
another
one
person.
anymore?
No, some of my
Just
kids'
checking.
friends have done it because they can't afford to live where they want to live, so they rent there, and they've bought an investment property in another house because, of course, if you negatively gear the rental property, the difference is tax deductible. On your mortgage repayments, they're
But
not
they're
deductible.
negative gear. So in
Exactly
this market,
right.
they're losing money.
No.
In this climate
Only,
changing market.
only losing money on the cash. Trust me, Nat.
Okay.
I actually know a bit about
I'm
this.
just checking.
Firstly, I got to say, Nat, is everything okay there? Is everything
Everything's
okay?
fine. God, you know, if you think all I'll say about that is if you think that's bad, you should see our production meetings. That is nothing. We discuss very
lot of
heartily
stuff.
a lot of stuff a lot of the time.
Was that a debate just what the benefits of renting versus buying? Was
Yeah,
that-
yeah, and negative gearing
Yeah.
and renting in other areas and putting your money away. You know, they always say it's rather than buying a house, the best thing is to actually rent and put the money away. And I was sort of saying, well, does anyone actually put the money away? Really, is that something that most people do? So we were just having a heated discussion,
Well,
which we
as-
actually do every day.
Well, as West Australians, we must stick together. We're gunning for you. We're like, whoa, yes, let's bring this on. Get it into a ring. This is fantastic. I love a bit of fire in the mornings.
We do have fun every day. and as I said, after the show and during the ad breaks, they kind of have to shut us up a lot. So we do a lot of those.
Yeah, that's great. Well, anyway, big times are certainly ahead for Sunrise. One of the big stories coming up, Katy Perry is making her return in a couple of weeks' time. You all excited about that?
Yeah, I am. She's been on the show before, but she's actually co-hosting.
Yeah,
We've
this is
actually got
big.
her doing segments. So if anyone has any ideas of segments they would like her to do, we're open to offers.
Oh, I need to think about that.
Don't
You've put me
we?
on the spot right now.
Yes. Katie is up for anything. She's great. She's a really good sport.
Yeah.
And she's a smart chick. She's up for anything. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Is it true that she literally called the executive producer saying, I want to come on Sunrise and
Yeah.
basically co-host?
Yeah, and she really has a soft spot for the show because we've had her on before, and it's sort of got out of control, and we just kept her on.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be on for a smaller segment, and she just stayed basically, and we just dropped things, and she stayed and stayed and stayed, and she was really open to coming on again. So we said, "Yep, right, we'll find
Yeah.
a spot. Hey, do you want to co-host? Yep, okay,
That's
fine."
brilliant. That's great. Now, as a true Sand Grouper too, you know about the benefits and the wonderful thing we do with Telethon every single year.
Mm-hmm.
It's clocking up the big 5-0. Are we expecting to see you around October?
Definitely.
Yep.
I can't even remember how many telethons I've been to now. A lot, and I will definitely be here in October. I've been to lots in the last few years, and it's so special. I spend half my year explaining why it's so special to people on the Eastern Seaboard. We know why it is, so of course we'll be here.
Well, we know you love Western Australia. Western Australia loves you. It's basically been, that's the ratings for the past 15 or so years in WA, and that's set to climb. That's what I reckon. But you are here for the rest of the week as part of Sunrise WA News. Make sure you watch again tomorrow on Channel 7 and GWN7. It's an absolute pleasure, Natalie Barr. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Matt.